Hi everybody, I'm Taz Thornton. Uber quick broadcast today. I want to talk about quitting. Have you ever felt like whatever it is you're doing, you want to quit? I know I have. I have felt like quitting several times now, whether that's quitting coaching, whether it's scrapping the big one, the spiritual empowerment program I've been running for 10 years now, or whether it's just quitting training, consultancy, everything. Every now and then, when the proverbial hits my fan, what happens is those thoughts about Taz, just quit, just go and get a job, get rid of all this rubbish, just quit and go and do something easy will float to the top of my mind. Now, I know that I'm not going to quit. But when those thoughts come, it's usually on the back of, I don't know, somebody being difficult, somebody being challenging. One I particularly remember is going back a few years now. Somebody developed quite an unhealthy Taz obsession and set about trying to ruin my business reputation and cause all kinds of chaos behind the scenes for me when I politely declined their advances. I've had other situations where something has come up for someone, maybe in a group coaching session, and rather than working through the stuff that's being triggered for them, they've tried to go into blame mode, or they've tried to just stir behind the scenes. Every now and then, it's human nature. It happens. If I think right back to the times where my cash flow wasn't the way it is now, way back, the car boot stories I talk about in Unleash Your Awesome, I thought about quitting then. This is too hard. How can I do it? I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And of course, I'm still here to tell the story. So what I want you to remember is that when we think about quitting, what's actually going on is that little bit at the back of the brain that tries to get us out of problems is just running through lots of different solutions. And to get us out of the situation, quitting would be one of them. So, sometimes when I'm going to go really extreme here for a moment, sometimes when people talk about having a near-death experience and their life flashes before their eyes like some big technicolor movie, the reason that happens is, again, it's the problem solving part of our brain quickly starts replaying everything it can remember to try and find a solution to get us out of that danger zone. And that's all that's happening. So when you're feeling low, when you're feeling run down, when you're feeling that somebody's unfairly having a bit of a pop, when somebody has an agenda all their own that shouldn't have anything to do with you, but they're trying to turn it into something to do with you, regardless of how you deal with that actual situation. And I would really remind you here that it's 9 times out of 10, it's everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. What I want to remind you of is, regardless of how you deal with that specific situation, when those thoughts start to pop up, when you start to think, I'm just going to quit, I've had enough of this, I'm too tired, I don't want to do it anymore, I'm too worn down, I'm just trying to help people and they're throwing it back in my face, all of that kind of victim mindset stuff we can sometimes go into. Remember this: for every one person or every one situation that feels to be a thorn in your side, there are 11 to 12 other people that you're helping right in that moment. There are always more people who are benefiting from what it is that you're doing, provided that you know your stuff, of course, and you're operating fairly and with compassion and empathy and with knowledge. There are always more people you're going to help than the odd fly in the ointment who will try to bring you down. So, you don't stop going on holiday to warmer climes because of mosquitoes, do you? Well, COVID aside. You don't stop going to your favorite picnic spots because there might be a wasp. And if you get a blowout or a punctured tire in your car, you don't say you're never going to drive ever again. It's an isolated situation. But in that isolated situation, when our stress monkeys come up, when those little let's quit demons start whispering into our subconscious, it can feel like maybe it's the end of the road, or maybe you need to choose that it's the end of the road. And again, I'm telling you this because I've been there lots and lots of times. And thus far, I've been self-employed full-time now since 2010, and I'm still going strong. And another thing to remind you of is the more you build your brand, the more you build your profile, the more every now and then you'll get a troll. And again, it always says more about them than it says about you. So just keep fighting the good fight. Keep remembering why it is you're doing the work that you're doing. And keep remembering that every now and then, when there's a fly in your ointment, well, you can take that fly out of your ointment, or you can just get more ointment. There is no shortage of ointments. It's not diesel or toilet rolls. There are a load of ointments, and loads of ointment does not have flies in it. So tips one, remember perspective. There's one person or one situation that's getting you down, but what about everything else? It's that same situation for those of you who are speakers, where every now and then you'll focus on that one person that doesn't seem to be engaging rather than looking at the rest of the audience who are getting it. Give yourself some perspective. Is this really a massive issue? Are you really not good enough? Are you really not serving people? Is it really time to throw in the towel? Or is it just one situation that you are allowing to get to yourself a little bit too much? Number two, internal perspective. So when we're doing medicine wheel work and some of the teachings from earth wisdom work and the stuff we cover on the big one and the bigger one has to do with our chief energy, being absolutely aligned, in control, knowing why we are doing everything with perfect clarity, with a balance of heart and mind and soul, having your chief in place, your spiritual warrior in place, rather than allowing the victim to come in. So if you're being triggered by something, instead of allowing that trigger to take you down a rabbit hole, take a step back. That's interesting. Why is this coming up as a trigger? Why is this bothering me? What's the work I need to do within myself that this is highlighting? And then, again, rather than making a permanent decision from a temporary situation, work on what's beneath that trigger. Triggers aren't to be avoided. Triggers are little indications that show us where we need to do the work. So from that point of view, we can learn to celebrate triggers and to be grateful for them. Work on your mindset massively. Again, make sure you're focusing on all the flowers instead of just looking at the manure. And ultimately, if there is just one client who is being unreasonable, the relationship is breaking down, something like that, you can always sever that relationship. You don't have to keep working with people that you don't want to keep working with. So that's always an option for you as well. Let's just see what we've got in the comments. Martin. Thank you, Martin. That's really good to hear. Martin Warrilow, if you haven't looked at Martin yet, Martin is an amazing guy to look up. I won't give away his story, but let's just say if you ever feel like giving up, Martin will show you why it's not time to give up. Excellent speaker. And we've got Harry here, trolls only troll because you're doing something right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing to think about. If you have got someone who's trying to chip away at you, 9 times out of 10, it's because the way you are behaving, when you are in your power, when you're standing in that superhero pose, when you're in your power, when you're operating from a place of clarity and choice and responsibility and ownership and heart and mind, and everything's in balance, there are going to be people sitting in the background who are, I don't know, maybe they're going through difficult times of their own. Maybe they know they could shift their life on if they wanted to. And when they see you showing that you can step into your power and change things, that's a massive red rag to a bull even, because you are literally showing them that they do have a choice. And all of their excuses are collapsing just by the virtue of you standing in your power. Adrian is saying people are entitled to their opinions just as you're entitled to yours. It's just that sometimes your opinions are not the same. Move on. Absolutely. Spot on. We don't all have to agree with one another. We don't. We can, and I think this is something that social media has really kind of messed up for us, really, because we seem to have lost that ability to learn from the differences and to engage in a discussion. So you've got a very different opinion to me. Can you explain that to me? Tell me why. We've lost that sense of talking to understand, and instead gone into a situation where we're either trying to convert or pull somebody down. So we need to be aware of that too. So all of these scenarios, so many things. If it's the money thing, times sometimes are tight, particularly if you're working for yourself, if you're self-employed. And the big thing you need to do, if you can foresee that there's going to be some shortfalls when it comes to cash, is you need to get off your backside. You can't just sit there and think, well, I've read The Secret, I'll just hope and it will fall into my lap. You can't just do that. If you can see that there's going to be some cash shortfalls coming up and you're self-employed, you need to get into that mode of being thinking outside of the box and go, what have I got? What have I got in my kit bag? What's waking my people up at 4 o'clock in the morning? What can I create to help with that? And you need to start showing up. You need to start building your presence. You need to shine brighter. You can quit, or you can recognize that the world of self-employment means there will be peaks and troughs, and it's down to you. It's down to you. It's down to you. It's down to you. Just as there are going to be times where money feels a bit tight, the other joy of being self-employed is your earning potential is limitless. It's up to you. So I think they're the big three scenarios I see from people who are thinking they want to quit. Number one, somebody's being a dick and you're allowing it to punch too much. Number two, you're just worn down. You're not taking enough time out for you. You're not looking at the value of what you give, and you're not giving yourself enough downtime to recharge and to bring the joy as well. You're not spending enough time on your own interests, the things that fill you up, the things that re-energize you. You've got to build that time in too. And number three, finance stuff. You're in control. If you're self-employed, you are in control of that. So again, look for a solution. Try not to go down a rabbit hole. Try not to get stuck in that web of victimness where you think there's no solution and everybody's just being horrible to you. No, they're not. It's easy to believe everybody hates us. It's not always true. And if, by the way, you have somebody in your camp who is trying to bring you down, if they're doing that playground, nobody likes you anyway, or people have been saying things behind your back, if you're doing those things, just remember that sometimes other people's opinions of you are none of your business. So if somebody comes to you dangling those kind of carrots, trying to get you to engage and get stuck in drama, just, why are you telling me this? Why do I need to know? What is your intention in bringing this to me? Because 9 times out of 10, I guarantee the one running to you with the nobody likes you, people are saying things, people don't like this, they will be at the heart of it. 9 times out of 10, they are never the ones holding the gun, but they are always there when the shot rings out. So instead of buying into that innate need to go, who's saying things about me? Who doesn't like me? Who's saying what? Oh God, I need to know. What are they saying? What are they saying? I need to be able to address it. You don't need to know. 9 times out of 10, you don't need to know. It's somebody else's drama, and you don't need to go there. And you don't need to quit from it. You just need to keep going, keep going, keep going. Remember all the people that you're helping. Remember all the people that you're serving. Go back and look at your testimonials. Look at some of the positive feedback you've had from people. And I promise you, if you're walking this path in the right way, the positive feedback is always going to massively outweigh either the people who are just trying to be flies in the ointment, or the times that feel challenging, or the trolls. So quick look at the comments before I switch off, because I need to disappear for now. I have a coaching client now, so I need to disappear. Martin, as a bald-head tattooed mutual friend of ours once said, sitting there aggressively waiting for the phone to ring doesn't work. Spot on. Adrian, I'm a great believer in having multiple incomes, even if it means working part-time for someone else. Absolutely. Always great to have multiple streams of income. That's another broadcast for another day. Pam, that happened to me, but I'm back. Good to hear it, Pam. Stay here. So that's it from me. I need to disappear. If you're thinking about quitting, sit with it, get some perspective, get some balance. You probably don't need to. You probably need to take some more care of yourself, to love yourself a little bit more, and to just maybe take a step back and get some much needed perspective. Keep unleashing your awesome. Lots of love. Bye-bye.